2021 Pacific Open Championship. We're all really happy to have you here today, and we're really looking forward to the high level of competition we expect to see. At this competition, we're seeing teams from across our own state, from Northern California to Southern California, and even out of state with teams from Oregon and Washington. Even just yesterday, I was talking to some of the teams, and I was really impressed with the level of robots and complexity that I saw. Even though after this season has ended, we really wanted to run this event to give all the teams a platform to actually display all their hard work that they put in over the past year in the really engaging in-person format. To tell you a little about us and our company, we from Dublin Robotics specialize in robotics education for K-12 students. Our mission has always been to bring the classroom experiences and share them with people who may not necessarily have that avenue to experience robotics. And through our various programs like the VEX EDR, the VEX IQ, our patent program, drone classes with the RAD program, we're basically trying to bring STEM education and make it so it's something that everyone can have access to. We're really excited and honored to have all of you guys here today, and we'd especially like to thank the RACF Foundation and VEX Robotics for their continual support through these times. Even in spite of a global pandemic, we're able to come here and we're able to run these events and build robots, and it's only because of their support through the entire process and for the last multiple years that we're able to do this today. So I'm really grateful for that. So to introduce someone from the RAC Foundation, I'd like to introduce Mr. Tarek Shirfati. He is the Senior Director for Programs for the Robotics Education and Competition Foundation. He is a retired engineering professor. He's married to an engineer and has two daughters who both participate in robotics and went to university to get their engineering degrees. Tarek has participated in competitive robotics for over 20 years and has served many roles. He has hosted the first VEX World event at the Cal State Northridge University. He is passionate about the VEX program and its role in preparing youth for the future. So I'd like to call him up. A round of applause.
Well, good morning, everybody. So in order to get to this quick, I've pared the talk down to about 20 minutes. No, I don't do that. Leave that to my boss, Dan. Anyways, I actually have the privilege of serving as a Senior Director of Programs, which is just a fancy name for running all the programs of the RAC Foundation: VEX, VRC, IQ, VEX AI, VEX AI Virtual, the new RAD program, which is drones. Who knows, maybe next year we'll have a water competition. Can't tell you if we're gonna, that's a secret, but we're working on all sorts of things. So RAC Foundation actually runs program. Just prior to COVID, we've had a rough year with COVID, and I know you guys have too. We had 28,000 teams. We were in over 70 countries. As we rebuild this year, our goal is to hit 100 countries this year, get back to that 28,000 team mark, and get back to running about 3,000 events a year. And I say run 3,000 events a year, but the reality is we really only run one event a year. Events like this one here are run by volunteers. I want to make sure that we thank all the volunteers. So if you have a chance today, thank the event partners, Dublin Robotics, thank the referees, thank the judges when you see them, thank your mentors, your coaches, your parents, because they're really the people that make the program run. We just get all the glory for it, but they're the most important things. I feel passionate about this. I don't know if my mask is slipping a little bit. I have been vaccinated, so don't worry, I don't have rabies. We feel passionate about this. I do. It's really interesting. I was talking to one of the engineers from AI, who's here, he'll be speaking next. He did VEX in high school. He did VEX in middle school. And my kids did VEX. Whether it's VEX or any other program, the RAC Foundation actually promotes all sorts of robotics competitions. We think the important thing is that you guys get out and have a chance to play. And when we put together, this is a showcase event, the concept of a showcase event this year, we knew you guys have been locked up. You're probably sick of doing LRT and LRS. For the parents, that's the online stuff. And we wanted to give you a chance to get out and play robots, because it's not the same thing online. We know it, you know it. I watched the middle school kids yesterday. They were having a blast. So I think the important thing is I'm going to keep my comments to that. I'll walk around and talk to you guys. I hope you have a great time. Robot on, and best of luck to everybody.
Thank you. This event, again, is not possible without the support from the RAC Foundation and Vex Robotics, as well as all our students and mentors who are volunteering today. We really appreciate all the help. Another group I'd like to give special thanks to is our event sponsor. You might have seen their booth out there, AI. We really appreciate their sponsorship, and I'd like to introduce one of their engineers, Mr. Alex Hilger. Thank you.
How you guys doing this morning? That's what I like to hear. So my name's Alex, and I'm an engineer at AI. You can see our self-driving our car out front with the sensors on the roof. It's pretty cool, and we also have a booth with a bunch of smiling people. You can't see it under our masks, but we are. And anyways, I just wanted to come up here and talk for a moment and say that I did Vex when I was in high school. I'm from Baltimore City. I was captain of my team for 3 years, and we went to the World Championship, and I certainly wouldn't be where I am today without Vex. And I wanted to say another thing, you're gonna make connections here that are gonna last you longer than you realize. So I just graduated from the University of Maryland with my mechanical engineering degree, and I can tell you that I didn't think I'd be running into people who I'd done Vex with, but you do. So I just did my senior research, my capstone project, and the guy on my team, he was captain of his Vex team as well when he was in high school. So the connections you make here are gonna go with you much more than just today. And with that, I'd like to introduce the chief scientist from AI, Dr. Alan Steinhardt. He's an IEEE fellow. Dr. Alan Steinhardt is a sought-after expert on radar, missile defense, GMTI, and space surveillance. He was the chief scientist for DARPA, co-author of a book on adaptive radar, and assistant professor of electrical engineering and applied mathematics at Cornell University, where he performed funded research on sensor arrays and optimal detection capabilities. Dr. Steinhardt's also a member of the National Academy of Sciences Naval Studies Board and a recipient of the U.S. Defense Medal for Exceptional Public Service. He's also served as chief scientist at Booz Allen, the radar project lead at MIT Lincoln Laboratory, and director of signal processing for the defense industry within BAE Alphatech. So please put your hands together for Dr. Alan Steinhardt.
I can take off my mask. It's hard for me to talk with my mask on. So, tackle me, but that's not true. I've been vaccinated. So, you know, when you hear really long, impressive resumes, it's useful to remember it's not accomplishment, it's age, right? You do a lot of stuff, it's kind of piles up. But I wanted to say a couple of things that would be useful to, hopefully useful to you folks. So whether you're a competitor, whether you're on one of the teams, whether you're a parent or one of the team members, this kind of activity is really important. I can tell you from my own personal experience with my daughter, and then I'll touch a bit on myself. She was not very motivated in school. She was a restless person that had a hard time sitting still. She's a great athlete, and but she injured herself, and so she couldn't play athletics. And so we said, well, you know, there's this robotics thing going on. It's kind of like, it's competitive. You don't get to run around, but the robots do, you know, so we figured that would be okay. And she did really well. It really turned around and got her heavily motivated, and she went from D-level grades to A+, and she ended up, she's accepted an MIT, and she's now working a doctorate in robotics at Harvard. So it really changed her life, and so that's kind of cool. In my own life, when I was younger, there was no Vex. Sorry, there wasn't either first robotics, but I had an aunt who was an engineer. She actually lived with us the last couple of years of her life. She studied under Albert Einstein. I don't know if you've heard of him or not, but he was, anyway, long story short, she was a real influence in my life, and when I was growing up, it was really considered really bad to like technology. You had to hide it. It was like a shameful thing. You had to pretend like you didn't like it. And I remember talking to my aunt saying, I think I want to study physics, but I don't want to study it because, of anything other than the fact I think it's fun. And she kind of smiled and said, well, that's a secret. People do it because it's fun. They just can't pretend like it's fun. Well, now I feel like you guys don't have to pretend anymore, because it's okay to have fun now, right? It's a cool thing now to be in a competitive robotics situation. I'm going to tell you something else a little serious, then a fun story, then I'll let the thing start. So I think that you guys being here, putting together robotics systems and testing them out, this is the future of technology. This is the future of world commerce. I'll explain to you why. Silicon Valley was called Silicon Valley because when it was founded, no one went to Silicon Valley for computers or for software. It was all about building things, building stuff that works. And then over the last couple of decades, everybody forgot about the real world, and it's all software, software, software. Well, we're sort of at the limits in many ways of software right now, in terms of, it'll still be development, but we're sort of hitting Moore's law. There's such a broad reach of software that it's not like a thing that you have to say, oh, could we do X with software? Because we're doing everything with software. But what's happening now is the pivot to putting intelligence into physical systems, right? That's what we call AI. It's kind of a play on words. But there's tremendous opportunities in the future across the spectrum of medical, biology, autonomous vehicles, health, everything. You might hear it under different words, like Internet of Things or computing at the edge. But there's more and more of a concern now about how much power something consumes, what happens when it gets hot, all these things that you guys have to deal with when you do robotics. So it really is the future. The other thing Alex mentioned, you get to meet a lot of people. It's really good on your resume. I don't know whether, I'm not saying we wouldn't have interviewed you if you hadn't had some experience in robotics, Alex, but it helps,
Helps a lot.
It helps a lot, yeah, it really does. And the other thing is, before I tell you a story, what you experience here in this competition is much, 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 much closer to what engineers and scientists do on a daily basis. It is about teamwork. It is about failure and adapting to failure and failing again quickly and adapting quickly. It is about communication. It's about dabbling. It's about being confused. It's not about going and taking an exam and you get points off if you do something wrong. That's not the real world. Sorry if I'm offending any teachers out there, but so yeah, this is a reality of life as an engineer or scientist. So if you like it, it's a great feature. You can talk to us or anybody else that has got a cool company you might consider joining. People tell me I should tell a funny story. I got lots of funny stories because I've done a lot of stuff with a lot of different people, and sometimes I feel like Forrest Gump. You've seen the movie, because I'm like, there's all these things in history that I kind of stumbled upon because of my position as chief scientist at DARPA and other things. So this one, I guess I could get in trouble for telling it, but I doubt it because it was so long ago. But who here has heard of the CIA? Okay, good. So, interesting story. This isn't my story, but it's part of the story. So when you have the CIA is the only place I know that's got a badge that has nothing on it, because no one wants to know anybody's names, and all it's got is it's got your DNA on this little card thingy, and you get in, right? So it's kind of a strange situation. But anyway, so I was talking to the deputy director at the CIA, and you maybe saw movies where they have like the stars on the wall, fallen heroes, and so forth and so on. There's also a really cool spy museum there. If you want to, join the CIA, you get to see a cool spy museum. But anyway, so the funny story is, and I'm only telling this because people said tell a story. So I got lots of funny stories, but this one was, I was briefing the deputy director on something. And things were very casual in those days, so you just drove into the parking lot, showed your badge, walked in. So it was time to leave, and the deputy director had a conference room next to his office, and so he got up to leave and do something. So I went to get my suit jacket, and I'm walking towards my car, and I'm thinking, I must have lost a lot of weight because the suit jacket feels like it's too big for me. I didn't think much of it, you know. So I got to my car. I'm looking for the keys to my car. I don't find the keys. I thought maybe it was in my left suit jacket pocket. So I patted it, and I didn't feel my keys, but I felt like a thick sort of cardboard stiff thing, and I pulled it out. It says, Deputy Director, CIA, for your eyes only. And I had gotten the wrong jacket, right? So I thought, what would I do? So I just very quietly, you know, walked back into the CIA headquarters and walked down all the hallways and took his jacket off, put it on his conference room, hook on the wall, and then grabbed my jacket. And if this is recorded and he's listening, never happened, I just made it up. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you all again. I'd want to now just tell you a little bit more about the event. So, the reason we're all here, this event is actually a Worlds qualifying event. So the Excellence Award winner of this tournament will actually get a spot in the 2022 World Championship. And right here, if you want to bring the banner, it's around the back. Yes, so the two tournament champions will each get their own banner right here, and I believe the Excellence Award banner should be down here as well. And then there are 18 awards to give out to all the teams participating today, and they're all here. We got custom trophies for all of you guys' teams to try to win in the judging competitions, the robot skills, and the matches, as you can see right here. So again, the whole objective here is just to give everyone a chance to show off all the hard work they've done all season and give them an avenue to kind of compete with other people, learn from other people as well. Because at least for me, when I go to these competitions, I learn equally as much as I share with other people. And it's just a great community to be a part of for the last 7 years now. So I see the value in the program, and we just want to give teams the incentive and the opportunity to share those ideas with others, make the connections, and compete in these competitions. With that said, I think, oh yeah, so we're gonna get started with the drivers meeting. If you have any questions, this is our head referee right here, Vela, and I'll hand the mic to him. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Bella, and I'm going to be your head referee today. I'm pretty sure it's been a year, so you guys most likely remember the rules, but I'll reiterate some of them just for our kind of explanation. I haven't personally DQ'd anyone all year. I hope to continue that streak, but the only kind of rule that's kind of iffy right now is pinning. And this is going to be the first live event after a bunch of LRT. And I just want to remind you guys that pinning is 6 seconds, and I will start a timer once you start backing off in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got to stay for 5 seconds and one tile apart. And then once that is over, then you can pin them again. But I will give one warning during match if you violate this. The second time you do it down, then I gotta DQ you. But that's the only thing that I'm kind of worried about. Otherwise, you guys should be good with the overall rules of the game. Autonomous-wise, if a ball crosses the line and it does not affect the other team's autonomous, you should be fine. But if it does, the ball crosses the line and if it does affect them, then it's not an autonomous win for you, even if you get the points. But yeah, I'll be available, I'm approachable. If you have any questions, let me know and we can figure it out. But remember that we're on a tight schedule also, so we want to get things going. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys have a great tournament, and we'll get started.
All right, so we're gonna begin our matches in approximately 15 minutes. So we'll get the match list made, We'll print them out and we'll distribute it to all the teams, and then you guys can start your competition. Yeah, thank you.